Hello, everybody. Welcome to the broadcast today, where we are going to be talking about reconnecting with the awe-inspiring self. And by the end of the stream today, I'm going to be giving you a micro hack, 5 simple steps that can literally create a crack in reality to expose just how powerful that awe-inspiring self is. So if you're really going to want to stick around for today's session. So let me just bring Ross in here. Let me just click away. There we go. Ross is coming live. There we go. Yay. All right. And while that's happening there, Ross, I think he does have some international hellos for you guys. But in the nice time, just 1 second there, Ross. Let me blast through some of the logistics. If you're just joining us, please go ahead and drop in the comments where you're connecting from. Again, if you've been here many times, we always love to hear all the places around the world that we're reaching. If it's your first time on the stream with us, please go ahead and type in #first-time. And hold on, I've been talking and I got some features here. I'm gonna really play with this. So I'm gonna switch that one, this one here, and yeah, there, comments, there we go. That should be telling us where you're from. And again, if it's your first time, go ahead and type in #first-time. If it is, if you're a regular, go ahead and type in hooked on hacking. Ooh, look at that, Ross. We got stuff going on, man.
Here they come.
I'm multitasking. So #first-time so you can be properly welcomed. If you're a regular, help us out with the Facebook algorithm and drop some likes, hearts, emojis, and hooked on hacking in the comments. If you're watching this in the group, you won't be able to share because the group is now private. But if you're watching this somewhere else, we'd really appreciate a share if you feel someone could benefit from our content. So Ross.
Absolutely. What?
We've got some international hello.
Hello. Hola. Zdravo. We're so glad everybody's here. And we've got some really cool testimonials that just came through over this last week. Mary says, a big thank you to the entire Infinity group. This group enriches me in time of experience of mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and through the knowledge in various unbelievable. Yeah, well, I should have probably edited that just a little bit, but she's enriched. That's great. Thank you, Mary. And then Peter says, thank you for the steps. Something moved within me, and I feel very connected. And that's our goal. That is our goal, to spark something inside of you that is going to better help you be aware. And that's especially what's going on in today's show. And
awesome. Yeah, and I think that, to start off today, Ross, I think we start off maybe a little bit different so everyone can kind of get the most out of the stream today. In the title today, today's live stream, we mentioned a few things that I think we are presupposing. They're presuppositions by us. So I want to kind of start off by kind of laying the foundation. So if I just kick it off this way, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
Awesome. Let's say some hi to us. So we got some BC, we got bonjour, we got first timer. What's going on? Hey, Rachel. We got Ohio. We got Demetrius. We've got Memphis, London. Nice. Awesome. East Point in Michigan. Great. Again, if you are not a part of the group, we're going to suggest that you go there, and I'm going to pull that one up too. I'm just on it here. I'm just, bam. You guys keep asking what's the link for the group. Right there. Under the guides tab is all our replays. Again, they've changed it from units to guides. So that's where all the replays are. If you haven't seen them, you can go ahead and check them out there.
Really important to emphasize that, too, because in a lot of our previous videos, we've been saying go to the units tab.
Yeah.
And Facebook has now changed it. They didn't ask us for permission, but they just went ahead and did it.
Right.
And so now it's the guides tab. So don't want to confuse anybody if you're, like, no, I usually go to the units tab. It's like, it's the guides tab. I mean, and when it first changed, Gary and I were freaking out. We're like, oh my God, they dropped our tab.
Well, they didn't invite us to the board meeting. That's why.
That's right. Well, yeah, I sent them a very stern letter.
All right. So welcome everybody. Okay. So today's the topic is reconnecting with the awe-inspiring self. S.E.L.F. As we came up with the title, we intentionally added in some elements that we had to assume to be true in order for that title to resonate with everyone that showed up here today. Okay.
Exactly.
When you assume something is truth in order to accept a version of reality, we call it a presupposition, right? We're supposing something ahead of time. Okay. So first, we mentioned a reconnecting. Okay. Well, this would presuppose that there was some form of at least initial connection, and maybe even included, the presupposition of multiple past connections. But it also presupposes that you are currently not connected. So all of that in just that first word, right? All of this is relevant to you today, wherever you are today. It's relevant to you if you're on this call. We believe that every being starts off from a place of complete connection within the illusion that we call time, right? So however far back you think that is for you, current life, past life, alternate life, or whatever, that there is some connection with that we all came from. Okay. We also believe that there have been many more occurrences of that connection than even what you may consciously be aware of throughout your entire life experience. And we believe that unless you are living every single moment, every single waking moment in your truest and highest expression of your blissful self, that you are currently experiencing disconnection. All right. So that's the first presupposition. The next one is that there is an awe-inspiring self, S.E.L.F. Okay. And yes, we believe that every one of you, okay, are greater than you think you are. And I've mentioned this over and over. No matter how great you think you are, we believe you're greater than even that. And through our eyes, that is truly awe-inspiring, even if it's only our version of reality. We're okay with that. With that presupposition going into things, I mean, imagine that if everyone could take it, just people on this stream here, if everyone could take on the habit of believing everyone they meet or interact with was truly awe-inspiring. When you think about that, how different would our world be today? Let that sink in. If everyone you met and went into interaction with, your mindset was, wow, you're greater than you think you are, no matter how great you think you are. And that's awe-inspiring. Okay? And even if you just thought about your micro version of your reality and what that would be like, how that would impact, right? Think about all the micro realities of everybody here and them creating those ripples in their parts of the world and reality, right? The final element of the title today is the S.E.L.F. part of it. And it's ambiguous intentionally. It's self, yes, yourself, but there's also an acronym that I've been using, and I mentioned before in my previous streams, I've been using for many years now and teaching that the self is an acronym for spiritually evolving life form. right? That spiritually evolving life form, which in and of itself has its own set of presuppositions, okay? Which I'll be kind of touching on, talking about later in the stream today. So now that you have a deeper understanding of where we're going today, let me hand you off to Ross.
So I'm going to add one thing that just popped into my head while you were saying that, Gary. I mean, I can read it 100 times, but when I actually hear it, how many times and I want you to mark down in the comments, but how many times have you, or has somebody said, wow, you did a great job, or you're fantastic, or you are, whatever the case may be, you are, and you go like, oh, no, I'm not.
Or even worse, Ross, even worse. I'm only human. Oh my gosh, only human?
Yeah, exactly.
What? Are you joking me? You're only human? What is that, some kind of limitation that I'm not aware of?
Right, exactly. Wow. And so what we're going to do today is, we're going to talk about kind of why you go in that direction first. When somebody gives you a compliment, somebody says that you're awe-inspired, and you're like, oh, not really. Oh, I'm just this. And because there are a preset of labels that have been attached to us over time, and they have come from whether it be society, our parents, our siblings, our loved ones, it doesn't matter. But there's these labels, and everybody has a label of some sort. And we're going to, delve into this, because those labels, if they're not the right one, they're the first piece of the program of your subconscious program. They are the things that says, all right, here's your label, and now you're going to follow these parameters that this label says you are. And we're just kind of calling BS on that whole thing. So many people have written to us about feeling that feeling of it's a sense of loss, or perhaps an undefined sense of self. That the feeling that you're just not yourself, or more to the point, you're kind of a unexpected perception of yourself. In other words, it doesn't fall under those parameters. You're like, something's off. Like, that's the best way to describe it. Something's just off. And you see, from the beginning of humanity's time in this world, most societies formed labels or titles for each member of their tribe. And with these titles or labels comes an expectation of knowledge, an expectation of performance, and of course, status. And yes, indeed, one of it's kind of the two punch, the double whammy of status. Or is it actually, instead of status, is it really more just ego? So in essence, the ego is like the bully on the block, all bluster and no glory. Okay, puffing out his chest, perhaps throws out a few cuss words, preying on the weakest, protecting its facade of all whilst the fears and the insecurities lie from within. So, but the ego lives within a house of cards, teetering on the brink of exposure. It will not be diminished, marginalized, or weakened in any way. It's the wild animal backed into the corner. People have gone to great lengths to preserve their status. They will lie, cheat, and die to preserve their status. Their power is ultimate to them. So today is not about the ego, but our topic is partly driven by the ego. And as ego is fleeting and is non-substantial in the bigger picture, it plays such a tremendous role in all of our lives. So we attach labels and titles and rewards and power to mostly, if not completely, to feed that ego. We become the est. I'm the best. I'm the greatest. I'm the smartest. I'm the strongest. These are just labels you've created to impress yourself and those around you. Yes, you are all of these things. but maybe not how you might think you are, nor how you want others to think you are. So anyone who believes that they must control, force upon anyone else, dominate anyone else, force themselves upon anyone else is not expressing integrity, is not expressing power. They're expressing belief in their own powerlessness, the bully, because they themselves do not believe they are connected to the idea of an infinite creation in a way that allows them to know they have all the ability that they need to create what they want. They're exercising their label. So this force of will is the perpetuation or creation of facades of deception, playing a role for the moment, for the sake of a short-term goal, or simply to stroke your ego, which is still a short-term goal. So this perpetuates kind of to an exponential growth of the need to be accepted. In other words, if I'm the best, then I need to be the best at everything, which causes this exponential need to create the next facade, which is required to blend with the existing facade, which may be holding up the past facade. And thus that house of cards begins. So the labels simply are not important. They're just not that important. And neither is your ego. What you do know is that you is what you need to know. And that's who you are at this moment. You have all that you need to live the life that you're living now. So where you go from here is simply where you wish to. Whatever excites you, the most will unfold in your life automatically. Anything you need to know, when you need to know it, these are simple truths. They cannot be negatively construed nor twisted by yourself or those around you. They are self, spiritually evolving life force. It's really simple. When Gary first showed me this or told me about this is a long time ago, I was blown away. I'm just like, it's just so distilled down. So first of all, recognize that if you are always acting within integrity, then what you are expressing is the following idea. You are as powerful as you need to be to create anything you want in your life without having to hurt anyone or yourself in order to create it. So by using positive energy, which is simply an act that is integrative in nature and leans toward understanding that you have all the need at any given moment to create what you desire without having to force anyone or anything on anyone. As where negative action is that which assumes that you are not that powerful, and therefore the only way that you can create what you desire is to dominate and forcibly control the reality around you, not even realizing that you're creating the reality around you anyway, and that you already have it under your control. So we understand that sometimes there can be some confusion about the different definitions of labels. For one can mean one thing to you and another thing to another person. The term itself is inconsequential. Many of you have had conversations with me where I ask you to define that term or that phrase that you just used in the conversation. And it's not to correct your use of it. It's so that I may understand the definition you are using. So in turn, I can better understand your context. From the very beginning, Gary and I have always said, we are not here to tell you what to think. We're showing you a way of how to think. So we purposely did not put labels in like, this label means this label means this. Because I can give you an example But there's, over 100 people on this call right now. So that's 100 different definitions.
On this one stream. There's other streams where we're not seeing the numbers, right?
Exactly. Right. So for example, right and wrong are not labels that are absolute. Perhaps positive and negative are better because right and wrong, good and bad are value judgments and are subjective. They are labels. Because many individuals can be doing a positive action, an integrative action, and other individuals can value judge it with their labels, and the action would be wrong or evil. We are working on a program right now that talks about this in depth, differentiating. It's really, really cool. So now the idea of what has been described as many of the attitudes and experiences are all valid. They're all valid. No one's really wrong. So any tool in that sense is a valid tool if it gets you where you want to go. But the idea is that society, as we perceive it, and again, not meant derogatory, has placed many, many labels and with many definitions, which in of themselves are really the only thing responsible for the limiting of your ability to see that you are all creators. As creators, anytime you take the power that you are and remove it from yourself, you place a limitation that actually denies your very existence. What you've been created to be. So yes, in a sense, definitions of labels are what are responsible for creating the limitations. So let me repeat that. As creators, anytime you take the power that you are and remove it from yourself, you place a limitation that actually denies your very existence. What you have been created to be. So in that sense, definitions of labels are what are responsible for creating the limitations that you've set upon yourself. So remember, no situation has built-in meaning. All situations are fundamentally empty of meaning, blank. They're neutral. They're props. You label them. You give them meaning. The meaning you give them determines the effect you get out of it. So if you give a situation a negative meaning, you will embroil yourself within the negative energy of that event and become as that energy. If you give it a positive meaning, you will be intertwined with the energy of that event and get that meaning and that effect out of it, a positive one, regardless which energy you identify with. Write this down. Regardless which energy you identify with. The infinity matrix reads the code you send out and responds with more of the same. After all, it's what you asked for.
Yeah.
So society has shown you how to put many different kinds of labels upon ideas, none of which are wrong, but many of which may be attributable to the idea of the labels we are so accustomed to using in society. To refer to ideas and events to allow you to understand them through the symbology we've been using it for thousands of years. So a lot of this is just relatively ingrained in us. While this does not make those labels incorrect, it may be that some of those labels are limiting, or perhaps in some senses a little bit misdirecting in terms of what the actual event was all about. It is not important to understand that labeling of those connections, but simply to act upon the sensings, the feelings, the energies within you, and allow them all to blend. Everybody still with me? Okay. So in this way, simply recognize that the idea is that symbols are presented to you in a way so that you can always connect to other portions of yourself and utilize the energy where you have been placed. So as we progress through our teachings and our processes, we will emphasize more definition upon those labels and symbols so that your energy can be assimilated in whatever way you allow it to better channel them and be more effective.
So here's the thing, though, is that we've already been doing that, right? We've already been, if you've been watching some of the previous streams,
that was a secret.
We've already been Trojan horsing the code in for you, and if you're that's if you're first of all listening to the previous streams and also doing the hacks, the micro hacks that we put out there. That is the reason we're doing them, is so you start to make those shifts, and to do them consciously and through empowerment, as opposed to just falling haphazardly into some kind of existence that you didn't really buy into, right?
Basically an existence on purpose.
Yeah, absolutely, right. And so maybe I'm just the weirdo in the group, and probably not, but I'm okay with it if I am. Because I've been told on many occasions that I'm probably not of this earth. and
that's not really what I was meant, where I was going with that one, but yeah.
So maybe it's my alien DNA. I don't know. So, but does anyone here ever question aspects of their reality? I mean, like real solid, deep questions, and kind of sit with those. So questions like, do you really, really know who you are? Do you? And if you say yes to that or no to that, right? How do you know? How do you know you don't, and how do you know you do? Right? How do you know who you are? Think about how is it? How can you verify that you know who you are? Right? What is that verification? And then, when did you know who you are? I mean, when did that start? Or when did you know who you're not? Like when did you lose connection to that? And then where exactly, and this is a big one, I jump back to this one on a regular basis. I play with the others as well, but where exactly do you exist? When I think about where do I exist, like beyond the name, beyond the labels, beyond the physical vessel, where do I exist? Where's the observer in all of this? Where's the, we talk about being the creator. Where's the creator? And then the creator's creator. I mean, these are questions that kind of get me down a rabbit hole, right? Can you actually pinpoint where that true you is? These are deep questions, absolutely, right? In one way or another, has been explored throughout time. I would guess since the beginning of consciousness. Okay. And there are all kinds of different answers and descriptions and metaphors and stories. And I've been blessed to have a few what I'd call direct experiences of self. Okay, through different processes, through different experiences. And as soon as I try to compartmentalize that into mere words or even expressions, I'm quickly reminded of just how incapable those tools are to do it justice. Okay. And I also realize that my direct experience, no matter how well expressed, may not be anyone else's truth. It's only mine. And what I find and what I see out there is a lot of people that go through these and have these deep profound experiences, and through their passion to share and enlighten and give people some kind of guidepost, they express what's going on for them, or their their description of it. And I can from my experience, I can only assume that they're just scratching the surface of what the true direct experience is like. Because it really is, you can't put it in words. Okay? So I'm not here to tell you who you are. That's not for me to do. Okay? We're merely presenting a pathway of which there are an infinite amount for you to explore and find out if and how it serves you. So I believe that this journey to reconnect with the spiritually evolving life force is an underlying core desire that we all have. You feel it inside. You feel that there's something else, that you're greater than what you're expressing, that there's something pulling you, there's a purpose, there's something that excites your body, and the cellular structure of your body is just, it tingles. Exactly. when you tap into that frequency, right? The desire to be in our fullest, most joyful expression of who we are. But then we get caught up with all the distractions within the infinity matrix, right? That direct pathway to self gets lost or gets forgotten. But here's the thing, though, right? And if you really think about this, here's the thing. When something is, and we touched on this last week as well, when something is lost, right? Think about when something is lost, it means that you know all the places that it isn't. Correct? That's all it says. When you say I lost something, it means you know all the places that it's not. So if you eliminate all the places that it's not, which you already know, that means there's some aspect of you that actually knows where it is. Otherwise, you wouldn't know it even exists at all, if you think about it, right? Yeah, it's messing your mind up. I get it. It's stretching your mind to think in a different way, right? So if you say you lost your wallet, right? It means that you currently know all the places that your wallet does not exist, right? Otherwise, you would have found it, right? So so by process of elimination, to currently know that your wallet exists, some aspect of you has to know where it is. The key is to tap into that aspect that knows where it exists and follow that lead. Right? Again, same goes with if you say you forgot where you put it. Well, how do you know you forgot it if you didn't remember it first? The only way you can know you've forgotten anything is if you first remember it. So you had to remember that you put it somewhere. So if you tap into the self that remembers when the wallet, phone, ring, or even direct path to self will be much more accessible. Okay, so think of it this way. If the total beingness of who you are could be contained within a large room, if that was possible, okay, the largest room you could ever think of, a universe, for example, okay, your consciousness can only be aware of a tiny fraction of that experience at any given time. So it's like a flashlight in the dark, essentially. Whatever you put your attention on, whatever you focus on, is what you experience. You turn it here, you experience that. You turn it here, you experience that. You turn it here, you experience that. Right? The more you put your attention and focus on those things, the brighter the light seems. Your eyes get to adapt and adjust to where that light is, and it becomes more into your awareness. And the more that you think that's your reality, because you're not, because you see the light where it's focused, that's where the attention goes. So when you're growing up and you're given all these labels and roles and identities, you start to compartmentalize aspects of your awe-inspiring greater self. You compartmentalize all those elements of the room that's you. Again, if we can contain it in a room, right? You compartmentalize them, and from time to time, you focus on this one, and then that one, and then that one, and while you're focused on that, you allow yourself the illusion of forgetting all of the rest of who you are. That's how powerful you are. Okay, you are so powerful that you put yourselves in places of limitation by choice to experience something unique, something different, something we call life on Earth. Okay. Do remember, right, that sure, some of those labels and roles help you get through your life, but no matter how good they were for you, they were still a small fraction of the whole. And the first step in breaking free from those shackles is to decide today that you can't be contained within the boundaries of labels, roles, or identities anymore. You no longer, and here's the thing, right? If you're on these streams with us, you know how passionate we are about, we're not interested in people from the sidelines. We're interested in real players. So decide now that you are no longer going to be contained within those boundaries of those labels, roles, or identities. You contain them. They don't contain you. There's a difference, right? So once you decide that, then you can begin to expand your focus on all the awe-inspiring aspects of who you are, right? And to keep them in awareness as much as you can, and understand that, yes, there are times when you need to play the role of mom, you need to play the role of husband, wife, significant other, you need to play the role of family member, friend, colleague, being on the planet Earth, right? So those are roles that we play, but they're not who you are, right? When an actor or actress is playing a role on a show, that's just the role of what they're doing. It's not who they are. Okay, so it's doing that allows you to expand your focus. You first make that decision, expand your focus on all the aspects of who you are, and this is why you are here. So it's so many of the manifesting your reality teachers out there tell you, to practice gratitude. Well, this is why. Because in doing gratitude and practicing gratitude, it builds and establishes a habit of your focus on all the awe-inspiring aspects of reality that you're creating moment by moment. So, if you know me, I love to ask questions, and I really challenge and to start to really challenge the boundaries, the illusionary boundaries that present myself and others from living in the fullest of who we are. And the other day I was speaking with a client, and I asked her, if there was a way that you could wake up every day with energy and passion and self-guidance that you needed to moment by moment customize and create the reality you desire, how much energy, time, and resources would you dedicate with unfaltered focus towards learning, implementing, and mastering it? Right? So go ahead and tell me in the comments. Just drop in. So if you could tell me in the comments how much time, energy, and resources would you be willing to dedicate with unfaltered focus time to moment by moment customize and create the reality you desire? Just curious, right? I mean, what if I told you, and I'll wait for those to come in because I know there's going to be some delay there. What if I told you that you could probably do it in 24 to 36 hours of time? In fact, I had a teacher once tell me a long time ago that with true, pure focus, you could make profound transformations in 68 seconds. I mean, think about it. Just over a minute, 68 seconds. But you see, the problem is that 99% of us don't have the focus. We don't have the focus muscle developed enough to sustain that. And in between the small amounts of true focus time that we do end up dedicating, there are a ton of things that can hinder, block, or even reverse any advancements that you made, that you did make. I don't mean to bust any bubbles here, okay? I say this only to point out that this infinity matrix, we've been conditioned to exercise our focus muscle for less and less time. Fast food here, drive through there, Twitter 280 characters, 1 minute or less video, education, entertainment, and even those, you can't sustain your complete total focus for that. So the solution is to immerse yourself in micro hacks as your training ground to build up those muscles of focus, concentration, visualization, connecting with self, thinking outside the box, aligning your vibrations, and the list goes on, right? All the different micro hack focuses that we've had. So, which is a perfect segue actually into introducing, the 7-day hacking the Infinity Matrix Challenge, which we've been talking about last few weeks. Let me take a couple of minutes just to kind of tell everybody about it. Starting March 4th, we will be facilitating a 7-day challenge to dramatically hack the Infinity Matrix. Okay, and get you on a path to literally coding reality as you wish it to be. If you want to apply and participate, you need to know that this isn't for everyone. Okay, remember the question I asked my client: how much time, energy, and resources would you be willing to dedicate to having the master keys to the Infinity Matrix? Okay. If you're not ready to and willing to put in approximately 10 hours with Ross and I, and approximately 10 hours of implementation over the next 7 day, over that 7-day period, then it's not for you. You're not serious enough to play this game. All right. And you can continue to work the micro hacks until you build up the capacity to say that I can determine that. If you're not willing to take this challenge and show up with an open and receptive mind, then don't bother wasting your time or ours, right? Because I guarantee you that we will stretch you to the edges of your reality comfort zones and then ask you to stretch even more, okay? Right? This 7-day challenge isn't for bystanders or spectators. You must be willing to come to play, to learn, to experiment, and to expose and explore ways of thinking and being that perhaps you've never done before. Okay, we're going to hold some special Zoom introductory meeting calls to set the framework for the 7 days. It'll be an opportunity for you to get full details and interact with us live. Full details that will be of what we'll be covering through those 7 days. You can what you can expect throughout those 7 days. What our expectations of those who we accept to participate will be. If you want to get the Zoom link and time for that, you can do that one of two ways. Number one, if you haven't already done so, you can private message both either Ross or myself and tell us that you want the Zoom info. Number two, if you want us to reach out to you, just type in hashtag 7day. Hashtag 7day hack. Hashtag 7day hack. All right. Let me just put that up on the screen so everybody can see that. There and there. Okay. So if you want us to reach out to you, then go ahead and type that. If you want to reach out to us, private message us and let us know, and then we can get you on the list to send that information out to you. We'll be doing that. Starting over the next couple of days, we'll be doing a few of them, so that if you don't catch the one time, we'll have the time slots and options. But to get the link and the info, just go ahead and type that in or connect with us in private messages. All right. So now the moment you've been waiting for. Okay. And by the way, thank you all for sticking around. We're constantly in awe at the amount of people who stick with us from beginning to end. And, based on the numbers we're shown in the software here, we're consistently around 80 or 90% of our peak numbers that stick around right to the end. So thank you all for that. I mean, we're so
very, very much.
I mean, that's in this
world. I just want to throw in too that we've had a lot of people have already sent us instant messaging. I've got a list that's already quite large, so which is awesome.
And there's
it really is.
There. That's great.
Because ideally, I think the direction of where to try and go with this too is maybe if it all works, we can kind of create a smaller, an even smaller group and community for the people who that have completed this, so that they can better, play off of each other and create that momentum. So it's very cool. It's very awesome.
So in this micro hack today, you'll be building your focus on creating reality muscle. Okay. And I tell you that consistency is essential here. Okay. And can really create exponential results, meaning that it's more than just 1 + 1. It's 1 to the power of 100 if you're doing it regularly, right? So make sure you come back and report to us on what you're creating. All right, 5 simple steps. Okay, and we're actually going to do a stream in the future. I just came up with the idea yesterday, but we're going to do a stream in the future where we're going to give like 1-minute hacks, right? So 60 seconds, the 60. So instead of the 60-second barber or whatever those titles are, it'll be the 60-second infinity hacker, where we're just going to give you 60-second micro hacks that you can practice and start to get some pretty profound and cool results in your life. So here's one of those examples. So it only takes a minute to hack the infinity matrix. Okay, 1 minute. That's just to build the muscle, right? So stop following and or accepting generally accepted standards that have been set by others in the world around you. Okay? Stop following. That's the first step. Stop following and or accepting generally accepted standards that have been set by others in the world around you. And decide that each day has the potential of you rebooting your life with new set of rules that have been defined by you. Take charge. Decide that this is the day that things shift for you. Okay, that's the first step. Second step, pick one area of your life. Doesn't matter what it is, your health, your fitness, your relationships, your money, your whatever, right? Pick one area of your life that you want to hack and make up a new rule in which you are going to live by to the best of your ability from this day forward. Okay? Pick one area of your life, make a new rule, decide that you're going to live your life from that rule. we don't have enough time to go through all the different elements of how this can be done. But when we're doing, like, for example, this is kind of the things where if we're giving you these steps in the 7-day challenge, we're actually going to dive into some examples, get some feedback from you guys, give you some, some back and forth dialogue on how to make it better, improve it, or add different variations and that kind of stuff, right? So I'm leaving it up to you to build your skill and capacity right now, okay? So this is me holding the bike and letting it go and letting you ride, okay? Okay. So pick that area, write your rule. Then write down that rule on a piece of paper and label it my rule. Very big across the top, my rule. However big you put it, it should be labeled my rule, put it, and then stick that paper up in a place where you will see it within 5 minutes of waking up. If it's any longer than that, you're caught up in your day and it's going to lose its impact.
Exactly.
Okay. The closer to your waking up, the better. Okay. Because your brain waves will be much more receptive to that information than any other time of the day, other than when you're just going to bed. Okay. So just as soon as you wake up, within that first 5 minutes, have that paper somewhere where you will see it within 5 minutes. When you see, step number 4 now, when you see it, commit 30 to 60 seconds of focused time on that rule. And believe me, people, 30 to 60 seconds seems like not a big deal, but you know what? You'd be surprised at how many of you here can't hold 30 seconds of direct focus concentration. Right? You can test yourself, actually. So many years ago when I was really getting into, brain technology and those kinds of things and studying and practicing and doing my own hacks and stuff like that, one of the things I did was to check and see. I would look at a watch or a clock that had a second-hand ticker, right? And I would see how long I could stay focused on that ticker going around until my mind drifted off to something. Try it out and see if you can get to 30 seconds. Okay, you'd be surprised at how many times your mind wants to wander in just 30 seconds. So give yourself 30 seconds to a minute of focus time on that rule. Read it, feel it, visualize it as a part of your reality for the day. Okay, that's number 4. Read it, feel it, and visualize it as part of your reality for the day. That can help you to take that focused time in that 30, 60 seconds around that concept. Okay, and then step number 5, establish this as a daily practice for the next 30 days. For the next 30 days, 1 minute a day, maximum asking you to hack, and then notice how notice what happens in your experience of time, space, matter, and energy. Notice how those things start to bend, morph, and or transform to your will in alignment with that rule. 30 days, 60 seconds. Give it a try. Okay, that's your hack for today. Tomorrow at 9 a.m. we'll be doing a watch party in the group. So if you're not in the group, the watch parties are only in the group. That's your opportunity to have Ross and I available for instant contact through chat. We'll be watching along with you. We starting at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Yep.
So make sure you jump in there and do that. Let me go and put the link up here again. So if you're not a part of the group, this is where you can get it. When you get there, fill out the 3 questions. The third question is for you to get on the VIP list, which we've talked about many times, but the VIP is going to get above and beyond extras and exclusive content from the group. And the group itself is going to have exclusive content different from anywhere else that we're streaming. So if you're watching this and you're not in the group, we're going to have group specific content coming up very soon. So you're going to want to be in there and access that. You don't have to be part of the VIP, but it does give you an extra level of bonuses and content that nobody else will get. But if you're answering those questions, the answer all three, the system will automatically accept you in. Unless you don't answer one of them, then it won't automatically accept you in. And if you don't answer any of them, it'll automatically boot you up.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's our stream for today. Hope you all enjoyed it. Again, thanks everybody for sticking around. We will contact those of you that put in the hashtag first. What was it again? I had a blank.
Hashtag 7 day hack.
Right. Yeah. Right. And so we'll contact you. And those of you that have sent us or are sending us private messages, we'll be letting you know in the next 48 hours, at least 1 or 2 Zoom times that you can jump in on with us to kind of hear more about it. All right. All right. Thank you, everybody. Let me see if there's anything.
Thank you.
Post the link to the group, Morella. So I will. It's up on the screen here, Morella. The link to the group. And it's also running along the bottom as well. I'm going to see if I can drop it in the comments as well. It should go in there as well. Okay. So everybody, we'll see you next week. Thanks for chiming in. And
you're good to go.
Have yourselves a wonderful. We'll see you tomorrow if you're on the live. If you're on the watch party.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Have a great day.